Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am VC Pramod and with me is R.S. Raghu with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Centre's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan would be strengthened from Bengal. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 89%. India continues to report one of the lowest cases per million population. India and the US to hold 2+2 ministerial dialogue in New Delhi next week. New series of Consumer Price Index for industrial workers released with 2016 as base year. And in IPL cricket, match between Sunrisers Hyderabad and Rajasthan Royals underway in Dubai. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask. Maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing. Focus on hand and face hygiene. Now on to the news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today virtually addressed the people of West Bengal on the occasion of Durga Puja and asserted that the centre's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan would be strengthened from Bengal. The Prime Minister inaugurated Durga Puja Pandal and began his address with Puja gathering greetings in Bengali and appealed to the people to adhere to social distancing norms and wear face masks while taking part in the festivities.
प्रथमे आपनादेर सकले जनाई श्री श्री दुर्गा पूजो आसन्न श्री श्री काली पूजो एवं दीपावली प्रीति अतिरेक शुभेच्छा और अभिनंदन.
The Prime Minister spoke about women empowerment and said women in the country must be given the respect people give to Goddess Durga. The Prime Minister said in the 21st century the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat will strengthen from the land of Bengal. The Prime Minister said government is ensuring speedy development for the people of Bengal through various schemes. Noting that Goddess Durga was worshipped as a symbol of Shakti, he said his government is consistently working for the empowerment of women.
चाहे जन धन योजना के तहत 22 करोड़ महिलाओं के बैंक खाते खोलना हो, मुद्रा योजना के तहत करोड़ों महिलाओं को आसान ऋण देना, चाहे बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ अभियान हो, 3 तलाक के खिलाफ कानून, चाहे गर्भावस्था के दौरान मुफ्त चेकअप की सुविधा हो, घरों में शौचालय का निर्माण हो, मैटरनिटी लीव को 12 हफ्ते से बढ़ाकर 26 हफ्ते करना, या फिर सेना में परमानेंट कमीशन, देश की नारी शक्ति को सशक्त करने के लिए निरंतर काम किया जा रहा है. भारत ने जो नया संकल्प लिया है, आत्मनिर्भर भारत के जिन अभियान पर हम निकले हैं, उसमें भी नारी शक्ति की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है.
The Prime Minister said that though Durga Puja this year is being celebrated on a limited scale due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the enthusiasm is still unlimited. He said Bengal's Pujo gives India a new color. He said we are celebrating Durga Puja in times of COVID-19. All devotees have shown exemplary restraint.
इस बार हम सभी कोरोना के संकट के बीच दुर्गा पूजा मना रहे हैं. मां दुर्गा के भक्त, पंडालों के आयोजकों, सबने इस बार अद्भुत संयम दिखाया है. संख्या पर भले असर पड़ा हो, लेकिन भव्यता वही है, दिव्यता वही है. आयोजन भले ही सीमित है, लेकिन उत्सव का रंग, उल्लास, आनंद असीमित है. यही तो बंगाल की पहचान है, यही तो असली बंगाल है. हाँ, मेरा आपसे ये आग्रह जरूर है कि मां दुर्गा के पूजा के साथ ही आप 2 गज की दूरी, मास्क पहनने और अन्य नियमों का पालन भी पूरी निष्ठा से करें.
The Prime Minister also paid rich tributes to the icons of Bengal and said that the state had always made the country proud. Whenever the need was felt in India's history, Bengal has always led the way for India and shown the path. Durga Puja Pandal was organized at Eastern Zonal Cultural Center in Salt Lake on the initiative of the BJP Mahila Morcha. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will virtually inaugurate 3 key projects in Gujarat on the 24th of this month. He will also launch the Kisan Suryodaya Yojana for the farmers of Gujarat. He will inaugurate the Pediatric Heart Hospital attached with the UN Mehta Institute of Cardiology and Research Centre and a mobile application for telecardiology at the Ahmedabad Civil Hospital in Ahmedabad. Mr. Modi will also inaugurate the ropeway at Girnar on the occasion.
The Union Government today said the country's COVID-19 recovery rate has crossed 89%. More than 79,000 COVID patients have recovered during the last 24 hours. The Health Ministry said the total number of recoveries has reached over 68,74,000. The actual caseload currently comprises only 9.29% of the total positive cases. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is 7,15,000. In the past 24 hours, 55,838 new cases were reported, taking the total number of positive cases in the country to over 77 lakh. The ministry said India continues to report one of the lowest cases per million population. In Andhra Pradesh, 3,620 more COVID-19 positive cases were recorded in the last 24 hours. A record number of more than 73.47 lakh samples have been tested in the state so far. 3,723 persons have recovered in the state during the past 24 hours. A total of 7,96,919 positive COVID cases have been recorded so far in Andhra Pradesh, and 7,58,138 persons have recovered, and 32,257 persons are under treatment. 6,524 COVID deaths have been reported so far. The Bruhat Bengaluru Mahanagara Palike Commissioner N. Manjunath Prasad has said that recently the number of COVID positive cases reportedly on a daily basis in Bengaluru is considerably coming down. Speaking exclusively to AIR News in Bengaluru today, he said that early detection of COVID-infected patients has helped reduce the case fatality rate in Bengaluru city.
The Municipal Corporation of Bangalore has been conducting almost 50,000 tests per day. In fact, this is one of the highest in the country. Now, the more number of tests means the more number of lives that are being saved, so that we can identify people who are infected at the early stages, isolate them, so that the chain of infection is suppressed.
Tamil Nadu continues to register a drop in the active COVID-19 caseload. The latest update by the State Health Department says the crucial number remains a little above 34,000. 3,077 people were confirmed positive in the last 24 hours, including 833 in Chennai. Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy has assured that all the people in Tamil Nadu will be immunized against COVID-19 free of cost once a vaccine is developed. After inaugurating a repackaging unit of the industrial conglomerate ITC at Pudukkottai today, he told reporters the state ranks first in attracting investments since the outbreak of the pandemic. More from our correspondent.
Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy has reiterated that the state government will immunize all the public once the vaccine against the SARS-CoV-2 virus that is responsible for the COVID-19 disease is developed and manufactured. Tamil Nadu has the distinction of being one of the states that use only the RT-PCR kits for the diagnosis of the disease, which is considered the gold standard among all the available options. The total tests have exceeded 90 lakh and the case positivity rate is well under 8%, with many districts beyond Chennai reporting below 5% count. Meanwhile, the extended working hours for shops and commercial complexes in the state come into force from today. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
Kerala today reported 7,482 new COVID cases. With this, the total active COVID cases rose to 93,291. Today, 7,593 recoveries were also reported in Kerala. 23 new COVID deaths were reported, taking the death toll to 1,255. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan today said in the press meet that in many places more than permitted number of persons are participating in marriages. He added that this should be avoided and restrictions should be strictly followed to control the spread of the disease.
In the backdrop of COVID-19 pandemic, online education is being imparted to the students of the municipal schools in Mumbai. However, with a view to start physical schools in the future, the central government has formulated SOPs in this regard. It is also important to create awareness among the teachers about the precautions to be taken and the guidance to be given to the students and their parents related to COVID prevention. With this in mind, the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation has recently started a program to train teachers in municipal schools. We have a report from our Mumbai correspondent.
More than 10,000 teachers are working in more than 1,100 schools of the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation to impart education to more than 250,000 students studying in these schools. Although due to COVID-19 pandemic, students are currently being taught online in all municipal schools, students, teachers and parents need to be aware of the COVID preventive measures before the physical school starts in the near future. With this in mind, the BMC recently launched a program wherein 150 selected teachers of these municipal schools will be trained as trainers. During this 5-day training program, only 30 teachers are being trained every day in a hall with a capacity of 120 persons in order to ensure proper physical distancing. These trained teachers will then train other teachers in their schools and also teachers in nearby municipal schools. The training program mainly covers safe schools, preventive measures related to COVID, care to be taken by the teachers, guidance to the students and parents from time to time. Municipal Education Officer Mahesh Palkar said that after this, it is proposed to impart training to the teachers of private primary schools in the same manner. Switi Jain, AR News, Mumbai.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Centre's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan would be strengthened from Bengal. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 89%. India continues to report one of the lowest cases per million population. India and US to hold 2+2 ministerial dialogue in New Delhi next week. New series of Consumer Price Index for Industrial Workers released with 2016 as base year. And in IPL cricket, match between Sunrisers Hyderabad and Rajasthan Royals underway in Dubai. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
अरे भाई सुना तुमने? अरे इस मुश्किल समय में सरकार ने हम कामगारों की मदद के लिए एक और बड़ा कदम उठाया है।
कौन सा कदम?
पात्रता के नियमों में छूट के साथ ESIC ने अटल बीमित व्यक्ति कल्याण योजना के तहत मिलने वाली राहत राशि को बढ़ाकर दुगना कर दिया है। हाँ,
अच्छा, पात्रता की शर्तों को पूरा करने वाले जरूरतमंद बीमित व्यक्ति राहत के लिए ऑनलाइन दावा www.esic.in पर करें। अधिक जानकारी के लिए अपने नजदीकी ESIC शाखा कार्यालय से संपर्क करें या फिर टोल फ्री नंबर 1800-112526 पर कॉल करें।
ESIC, चिंता से मुक्ति।
External Affairs Ministry said the third India-US 2+2 ministerial dialogue to be held on 27th October will entail a comprehensive discussion on cross-cutting bilateral issues of mutual interest. India will be hosting the dialogue in New Delhi. Briefing media in New Delhi this evening, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Anurag Srivastav said both sides will also exchange views on regional and international issues.
The third India-US 2+2 ministerial dialogue on the 27th of October. And for this dialogue, the US Secretary of State, Michael Pompeo, and the Secretary of Defense, Mark Esper, will be visiting India on the 26th and 27th of October. RM and EM would be leading the delegations from the Ministry of Defense and the Ministry of External Affairs for this dialogue.
The spokesperson said the two leaders would also be meeting NSA Ajit Doval and there will be a joint call on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The spokesperson said India and the US have comprehensive global strategic partnership which includes political, security, defense, economic, commercial, technology and people-to-people contact. The first 2+2 ministerial dialogues were held in New Delhi in September 2018 and in Washington DC in December 2019. The agenda for the third dialogue will cover all bilateral, regional and global issues of mutual interest. India today said Pakistan forces have continued to engage in unprovoked ceasefire violation and often these violations happen at civilian areas to support infiltration of terrorists across LOC. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Anurag Srivastav said this is a clear violation of ceasefire understanding between the two sides.
Pakistan forces have continued to engage in unprovoked ceasefire violations, and often these violations happen from civilian areas to support infiltration of terrorists across the LOC. This is a clear violation of the 2003 ceasefire understanding between the two sides.
Mr. Srivastav said the neighbouring country has not taken any action against several terrorist entities and individuals, including those who have been proscribed by UNSC, such as Masood Azhar, Dawood Ibrahim and Zakiur Rahman Lakhvi.
Department of Posts will be releasing a stamp tomorrow in the presence of External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on the eve of 75th anniversary of the United Nations. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Anurag Srivastav said India attaches highest priority to the expansion of the UN Security Council so that it reflects contemporary realities of the world.
India attaches the highest priority to the expansion of the Security Council in both its categories, which is the permanent and the non-permanent category, so that it reflects contemporary realities of the world.
INS Kavaratti, an anti-submarine warfare stealth corvette, was commissioned into the Indian Navy today by Army Chief General Manoj Mukund Naravane at a ceremony held at Naval Dockyard, Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. INS Kavaratti is an indigenously designed Kamota-class anti-submarine warfare stealth corvette built by the Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers Limited. The Army Chief dedicated the ship to the nation. Named after the capital of the Lakshadweep group of islands, INS Kavaratti has been constructed using high-grade DMR 249A steel produced in India and is one of the most potent anti-submarine warships to have been constructed in the country.
India today successfully carried out the final trial of the Defence Research and Development Organization DRDO developed Nag anti-tank guided missile with a warhead. The test was carried out this morning at the Pokhran field firing ranges in Rajasthan. India today reiterated its commitment for eradication of corruption. Speaking at the first ever ministerial meeting of the G20 Anti-Corruption Working Group, Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh said that Indian government under Prime Minister Narendra Modi is committed to the policy of zero tolerance against corruption and unaccounted money. Dr. Jitendra Singh referred to the India's Prevention of Corruption Act 1988, which the Narendra Modi government amended after 30 years in 2018 to introduce a number of new provisions.
Senior BJP leader and Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, Sushil Kumar Modi, tested positive for COVID-19. The BJP leader tweeted that he has been admitted to the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, AIIMS, in Patna. Modi said that his parameters are perfectly normal, adding that he will be back soon for campaigning. Ahead of the assembly elections in Bihar, Modi held a joint campaign with Chief Minister and JDU leader Nitish Kumar at Buxar and Bhojpur districts on Sunday. Star campaigners and former Union Ministers Rajiv Pratap Rudy and Shahnawaz Hussain have also tested positive for COVID-19 and are undergoing treatment. As the campaigning intensified in the poll-bound areas, several cases of uncontrolled crowd and violation of COVID-19 protocols have been reported. Several FIRs have been registered on violations of the prescribed guidelines of COVID-19 in the state. Our correspondent reports that the campaigning has gained further momentum in the state. Here is the report.
Senior BJP leader and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh addressed a rally in Nabinagar. Mr. Singh said the Nitish Kumar-led government has done a pioneering role for the development of Bihar. JDU President and Chief Minister Nitish Kumar addressing rallies in Hasanpur and Vibhutipur said the 15 years of track record of his government is evident to all. All the sections of the society have reaped the benefit of development work. Senior RJD leader Tejaswi Prasad Yadav addressed multiple rallies in support of Grand Alliance candidates. He alleged that there is a dearth of reliable face in BJP, so the manifesto was released by the Union Finance Minister. The General Secretary of CPI-ML, Dipankar Bhattacharya, said in Bihar, people want change. They are grossly unhappy with the present government over maltreatment during lockdown. Rashtriya Lok Samata Party Chief Upendra Kushwaha alleged that due to bad policies of state government, generations are suffering. Dharmendra Kumar Rai, AIR News, Patna.
A total of 1,249 nominations have been found valid for the third phase of assembly elections in Bihar. Out of 1,411 nominations filed in this phase, 162 have been rejected during the scrutiny. Tomorrow is the last date for withdrawal of candidature for 78 assembly segments spread over 15 districts. For the by-poll of Valmiki Nagar parliamentary seat, all 7 nominations have been found valid. For the third phase, polling will be held on 7th November along with Valmiki Nagar Lok Sabha by-poll.
The Janata Dal United today released its poll manifesto for the assembly elections. State President Vashisht Narayan Singh said in Patna that the party will roll out Part 2 of its development-based 7 resolution program. Mr. Singh said all houses in the state have access to electricity and now the party will provide irrigation facilities to every farm. The JDU State President said that in the vision document, several initiatives for youths and women have been proposed. Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council, Leh, has recorded 65.13% of polling today. The 6th LAHDC, Leh General Council elections concluded smoothly in Leh district. Today's polling was on the same pattern as it was in 2015 for the 5th General Council elections. More from our correspondent.
Polling began at 8 a.m. at slow pace due to cold weather conditions, however picked up pace and concluded at 4 p.m. with over 65% turnout. The fate of 94 candidates for 26 territorial constituencies is now sealed in EVM machines. 26,010 males and 28,288 female voters have exercised their vote out of total nearly 90,000 voters in the polling concluded today. Out of 26 seats, highest voter turnout recorded at Skumarka with 83.5% and lowest in town limits in Lower Leh constituency as 48.1% of voters turned out to polling stations. District Election Officer Sachin Kumar said out of 294 polling stations, 57 were handled by women, while 38 poll stations have 75% of women staff. With Angchan Dolma, this is Ramesh Chandra for All India Radio News, Leh.
This is All India Radio giving you the news.
देखिए फिल्म जगत के कई मशहूर कलाकारों के साथ भगवान श्री राम के जन्म स्थान अयोध्या से रामलीला डीडी नेशनल पर लाइव 17 से 25 अक्टूबर रोज शाम 7 बजे से रात 10 बजे तक और इसका पुनः प्रसारण 18 से 26 अक्टूबर डीडी भारती पर सुबह 9 बजे से दोपहर 12 बजे तक और दोपहर 3 बजे से शाम 6 बजे तक डीडी नेशनल पर।
Labour Minister Santosh Gangwar today released the new series of Consumer Price Index for Industrial Workers CPI-IW with 2016 base year in New Delhi. Mr. Gangwar said the CPI-IW is used primarily for measuring dearness allowance payable to workers in the organized sector, including public sector undertakings, banks and insurance companies, besides government employees. He said earlier the base year for the CPI-IW was 2001. The minister said it is an important economic indicator.
CPI इंडस्ट्रियल वर्कर्स इस देश की प्राचीनतम मूल्य सूचकांक है। ये एक अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण आर्थिक संकेतक है क्योंकि ये सूचकांक जनसंख्या द्वारा उपभोग की जाने वाली वस्तुओं और सेवाओं के मूल्यों में होने वाले बदलावों को नापने का काम करता है।
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister has asked all district magistrates to ensure the payment of minimum support price MSP to farmers during the ongoing procurement of paddy in the state. The Chief Minister today transferred an amount of more than 113 crore to the accounts of those farmers whose crop had been damaged due to the recent flood. More from our correspondent.
Chief Minister today transferred the compensation amount in accounts of 3,48,511 farmers of 19 districts of a state. First time in a state the damage due to flood was calculated online with the help of NIC and a web-based survey was conducted among the flood-affected areas. On this occasion, Chief Minister said that his government is committed for the welfare of farmers under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He said that all district magistrates have been asked to ensure payment of minimum support price to the farmers and stop anomalies during paddy procurement drive. He today ordered to suspend Regional Food Controller of Bareilly for irregularities in paddy purchase in Bareilly region. Commissioner Bareilly will conduct the inquiry against the officer. He had recently taken strong action against the officers who were involved in the anomalies during paddy purchase and even ordered to file FIR against them. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
The Ministry of Railways has said that about 11,58,000 non-gazetted railway employees have been granted bonus equivalent to 78 days' wages for 2019-20. The bonus has been estimated to be over 2,081 crore rupees. The Union Cabinet had yesterday accepted the Ministry's proposal for payment of productivity-linked bonus for all eligible non-gazetted employees of the railways. The maximum amount payable per eligible railway employee is 17,951 rupees for 78 days. The government has decided to permit all OCI and PIO cardholders and all other foreign nationals intending to visit India for any purpose except on a tourist visa to enter by air or water routes through authorized airports and seaport immigration checkposts. This includes flights operated under Vande Bharat Mission, air transport bubble arrangements or by any non-scheduled commercial flights as allowed by the Ministry of Civil Aviation.
In IPL, Rajasthan Royals were at 118 for 4 in 17 overs against the Sunrisers Hyderabad in Dubai, UAE. Tomorrow, Chennai Super Kings will clash with Mumbai Indians in Sharjah. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi will have misty sky with the temperature hovering between 16 and 34 degrees Celsius. In Mumbai, sky will be generally cloudy, though there is a possibility of moderate rain. The lower level of temperature in the metropolis will be 27 degrees Celsius and the upper level will be 33 degrees. Chennai is likely to have cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The temperature will oscillate between 25 and 31 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is expected to have generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. The minimum temperature in the metropolitan will be 25 degrees Celsius and the maximum 29. Jammu and Srinagar cities will have mainly clear sky. In Jammu, the minimum temperature will be 16 degrees Celsius while maximum nearly 32 degrees. In Srinagar, there will be much change in temperature as it will vary between 3 to 24 degrees Celsius. Leh will have mainly clear sky but minimum temperature will be minus 5 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be nearly 20 degrees. Gilgit will witness clear sky with temperature moving from 4 to 28 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, lower limit of temperature will be 10 degrees Celsius while upper limit will be 29 degrees. The sky will be mainly clear. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 15 and 31 degrees Celsius and the sky will be partly cloudy. Chandigarh is likely to witness clear sky. The minimum temperature will be 18 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be 33 degrees. In Hyderabad, the minimum temperature will be 21 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be nearly 31 degrees. The city will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Ahmedabad is expected to have clear sky. The city will have minimum temperature of 24 degrees Celsius while maximum around 38 degrees Celsius. Patna may see a clear sky with temperature hovering between 24 to 34 degrees Celsius. And Guwahati will have generally cloudy sky with few spells of rain or thunder showers. Temperature is likely to vary between 23 degrees and 33 degrees. The depression headed towards the northeastern Bay of Bengal has triggered an upper air circulation in Tamil Nadu and Puducherry region. India Meteorology Department in Chennai has said in its latest weather bulletin that coastal Tamil Nadu and her 8 north interior districts and Puducherry will experience isolated light to moderate rain for the next 48 hours. The sky in Chennai will be cloudy and there will be occasional rain at isolated places. Several areas in Chennai and other places in the state experienced thunderstorms today. Fishermen have been asked not to venture into the northwestern bay till tomorrow. Former U.S. President Barack Obama has criticized President Donald Trump for his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic and also targeted him for his business dealings in China. Meanwhile, Trump and Biden will face off in the second and final debate tomorrow in Tennessee. During the 90-minute meeting, each candidate will be muted while the other delivers responses to each of the 6 debate topics. And now, before we close, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Centre's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan would be strengthened from Bengal. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 89%. India continues to report one of the lowest cases per million population. India and the US to hold 2+2 ministerial dialogue in New Delhi next week.
new series of Consumer Price Index for Industrial Workers released with 2016 as the base year. And in IPL cricket, match between Sunrisers Hyderabad and Rajasthan Royals underway in Dubai. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.